Hello, my name is Brian Hall, and I'm going to analyze the hero's journey, archetypes, and themes of the SpongeBob movie. The movie is directed by Steven Hellenberg and Mark Osborne. Many of us have dreams and wishes that we wish to achieve. Dreaming is one thing, but doing it is on another level. One of your dreams could be to confess your love to someone, get a promotion at a job, or talk to new people. It can be easier said than done. There's one sponge that we can all relate to, who has dreams and ambitions like us, SpongeBob SquarePants. He hopes to be the new manager of the newly opened restaurant that Mr. Krabs opens. Unfortunately, his dream fails, and he has to prove to Mr. Krabs that he is qualified for the job. He and his pal Patrick must go on an adventure to prove everyone wrong. The tale has entertained millions of children and has an important message to tell us that we should be ourselves despite what others tell us. The beginning of most films starts with the ordinary world where the protagonist lives his everyday normal lifestyle. The ordinary world shows the protagonist's strengths and weaknesses. SpongeBob is living his everyday lifestyle where he is a fun and high-spirited kid. He tries his best in everything and is very cheerful, but at times he can be emotional and naive. He believes that he will be promoted to the manager of the Krusty Krab 2. On the opening day of the Krusty Krab 2, Mr. Krabs promotes Squidward, and SpongeBob makes a fool of himself. Believing that he has been promoted, Mr. Krabs calls him a kid and says that he is not ready for the job yet. SpongeBob gets depressed, but Patrick comforts him. When SpongeBob goes back to work at the Krusty Krab the next day, there's a crisis happening in the Krusty Krab. Due to his grudge on Mr. Krabs, he does not see what's going on around him. Mr. Krabs becomes frozen, and SpongeBob realizes that his favorite boss has become frozen into ice. To save him, he must go to Shell City and take back the crown that Plankton stole from King Neptune. Mindy, the king's daughter, gives him advice and a bag of magical winds. That is SpongeBob's call to action to embark on his journey to save Mr. Krabs and prove to everyone that he's not just a kid. The archetype of childlike innocence is shown when we are introduced to SpongeBob and Patrick, two goofballs who can't be taken seriously. There are a lot of items that represent them. For example, the Goofy Goober song abundantly shows their childlike nature. Another example would be the bubbles that SpongeBob and Patrick create in a bar full of men, further in the movie. Another archetype is a setting sun that occurs when SpongeBob gets upset. The setting sun represents death. In this case, when SpongeBob doesn't get the manager role that he believes he deserves, his dreams are crushed and he becomes depressed because Mr. Krabs says that he needs to be a man to be a manager, and he believes that SpongeBob is a kid. This flips his whole world upside down as he walks away into the setting sun.
Listen, you guys, the road to Shell
Mindy
City
acts
is
as
really
a mentor
dangerous.
who helps
There's
kickstart
crooks, killers,
SpongeBob's
and
journey.
monsters
She
everywhere.
gives them
And
some
worse,
advice
there's a
and
giant
gives them a
cyclops
bag
who
of
guards
wind
the
to help
outskirts
them
of the
return
city
home.
and preys on innocent
Plankton
sea
serves as
creatures.
the main antagonist. He enslaves the people of Bikini Bottom and is someone that must be defeated to save everyone. After they leave the Krusty Krab, they must pass a threshold before they can commit to the journey. They first meet the gas station fish, who are the threshold guardians. A threshold guardian is a person or action that a protagonist must overcome to start their journey. They laugh at SpongeBob and Patrick, betting that they can't cross the border. The duo proves them wrong, but has their vehicle stolen. Plankton hire a mercenary to take down SpongeBob and Patrick. Meanwhile, SpongeBob and Patrick go through many trials. Their biggest one yet is being chased by a monster and being forced to cross a big valley. They're not sure what to do. This stage in the journey is called Approaching the Innermost Cave. At this stage, the protagonists are at their lowest. As we can see, SpongeBob and Patrick aren't doing so hot. Luckily, Mindy shows up and gives them some encouragement. Not only is she their mentor, but she is also a goddess who uses her divine powers to change them into men. With their new powers, they can go to the trench like it was nothing. There's an archetype of ascending, which symbolizes gaining knowledge. SpongeBob and Patrick pass through the dangerous trench and have to go down it. They climb up and gain the knowledge that they are now men. We can also talk about the trench, which is an underwater valley. A valley represents confusion, as our protagonists are stuck and not sure if they should continue on. The next stage is the ordeal, the point of the story where our protagonists face their toughest challenge and their lives are at stake. Before they experience their toughest challenge, they meet Dennis, the mercenary, and SpongeBob's and Patrick's ideals are questioned. Dennis shows them what a real man looks like and was about to step on them. Before he could, a giant cyclops steps on him. Was SpongeBob and Patrick saved? No. That cyclops scoops him up and takes them to his lawyer. SpongeBob and Patrick now face their greatest challenge, surviving out of water. He puts SpongeBob and Patrick on a heat lamp to dry them out. Due to this unfortunate event, their long journey has come to an end. They are upset, but there's nothing they can do. They thought their efforts were for nothing until they realized that Shell City was just a silly gift shop, and they saw the crown. They didn't get to retrieve the crown, but they got to prove everyone wrong, that even kids can go to Shell City. They sing their last Gooba Gooba song.
I'm a goofy goober, yeah. You're a goofy goober, yeah. We're a goofy goobers, yeah. Goofy,
And produce their last tears. Their tears form to one and make a heart shape. The heart-shaped tear flows down a wire and manages to shock a power outlet and turns on the sprinklers with the smoke it produces. There is an archetype that darkness and black represent death. Every time the shadow of the Cyclops covers SpongeBob and Patrick, they are closer and closer to being captured. This capture of them leads to their close demise. Another archetype is the water/tear, symbolizing life. Next is a stage called Returning with the Elixir. SpongeBob and Patrick must return the crown to save everyone at the Bikini Bottom. Their source of transportation is gone, but luckily, David Hasselhoff helps them. This is also referred as Rescue from Without. This stage can be more dangerous than the ordeal. The mercenary turns out to be alive and tries to stomp on SpongeBob and Patrick again, but luckily, he gets taken down by a boat. SpongeBob and Patrick now can go to the Bikini Bottom and save everyone. All this information leads to our theme, which we should be ourselves despite what others tell us. SpongeBob not only wanted to save Mr. Krabs, but to prove to others that he's not just a kid. He goes to Shell City to become a man, but he learns something along the way, that he didn't have to be a man to go to Shell City. Minnie gave him a mustache, and he thought he had become a man. But the mustache stripped him of his false adulthood, thus waking him up from reality. After almost dying to the foot of the mercenary, he goes back to the Bikini Bottom and faces Plankton. Plankton mocks him and calls him a kid. In the beginning of the show, SpongeBob might have been insulted by the word, but now he is a changed sponge since they last saw him. SpongeBob embraces the word, and at the moment, he begins true to himself, to which he then regains his true powers to save everyone. The SpongeBob movie was a roller coaster of emotions as we followed the adventure of SpongeBob and Patrick. SpongeBob has become a master of both worlds, which is Shell City and the Bikini Bottom. His efforts were rewarded by being promoted to the manager of the Krusty Krab 2 at the end of the movie. With the many archetypes sprinkled throughout the movie, it showed us that we can learn something from the movie after enjoying it. We can learn from SpongeBob and follow the same path he did. We should be ourselves and not submit to the spiteful words people tell us.